All right, Shakespeare fans, get ready, because today we are diving deep into Macbeth.
Ooh, exciting.
I know, right? And we're focusing on a character that I think is often overlooked,
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Banquo. He might seem like just Macbeth's buddy at first glance.
Yeah, the one who hears the prophecies with him.
Exactly, but trust me, there are layers to this guy.
I'm ready to peel back those layers. What makes Banquo so fascinating?
Well, one thing that always strikes me is how differently he and Macbeth react to the witch's prophecies.
Oh, yeah, good point. You've got Macbeth completely consumed by ambition, immediately plotting to become king.
Right, but Banquo, he's way more cautious, skeptical even.
It's like he sees the danger in what the witches are offering. Like he understands the potential darkness that comes with ambition.
Exactly. And you see that in how he talks about them, right? Calling them instruments of darkness, and even calling on a higher power to resist the devil.
He seems to be much more aware of the moral implications of their words.
And that makes you wonder, right? Is Banquo truly good? Or is he just better at hiding his ambition?
Ooh, that's the big question. Like, on the one hand, we hear other characters praising him, calling him noble Banquo with a royalty of nature.
Yeah, you get the sense that there's some inherent goodness there.
But then there are these moments where he uses language that's kind of, well, calculating.
Like when he talks about his allegiance as something that could potentially shift depending on who's in power.
It almost sounds like he's waiting to see which way the wind blows before fully committing.
Right, like maybe he's not as noble as he appears on the surface.
It's such a great example of how Shakespeare gives us these really complex characters. He doesn't make it easy to label Banquo as simply good or bad.
And I think that's what makes him so interesting to study. He forces us to think critically about his motivations.
For sure. Like, was he truly loyal to Duncan? Or was he just biding his time?
Especially since the witches prophesied that his descendants would be kings.
Ooh, that's right. So is there an underlying ambition there that maybe he even hides from himself?
That's what we need to uncover. Is Banquo a true friend, a savvy political player, or something else entirely?
Lots to think about. Shakespeare really keeps us guessing.
And it gets even more complicated when you consider what happens after Duncan's murder.
Oh, absolutely. It's almost ironic, right? You'd think Macbeth would be haunted by Duncan's ghost, the man he actually killed.
Right. But no, it's Banquo's ghost that really gets to him.
And I think that really speaks to the guilt and paranoia that's eating away at Macbeth.
Totally. And then there's the whole thing with Flance escaping the assassins. Like, that just adds fuel to the fire.
It's huge. Because Flance is living proof that Macbeth can't control fate, can't escape the witch's prophecy.
And, speaking of the witches, I think Banquo's relationship with the supernatural is another aspect that makes him such a fascinating character.
Definitely. He's so suspicious of them right from the start. Like, he questions if they're even human, if it's possible to talk to them at all.
And his language is just so vivid when he describes them, right? Instruments of darkness. It really shows you how he understands that inherent danger.
You can tell he recognizes that they have this power to corrupt and that he's trying to resist it.
Which makes it all the more interesting that he later admits to having dreamt about them.
Oh, that's right. So even though he tries to reject their prophecy, their words still have this power over him.
It's like temptation, isn't it? Even when we try to push it away,
Yeah,
it can still creep into our thoughts.
exactly. It's like, who hasn't thought, what if I won the lottery? Or what if I had superpowers?
Mhm.
Those thoughts pop up even if we know they're not realistic.
Yeah, totally.
And Shakespeare captures that so well with Banquo. He shows us that internal struggle, at that conflict between knowing he should reject the prophecy and still being tempted by it.
It makes him seem so much more human, so much more relatable. He's not just this perfect, virtuous figure. He's got his flaws and desires just like everyone else.
Exactly. He's a real person wrestling with real temptations, which is something I think we can all relate to on some level.
Yeah, he's definitely not a one-dimensional character.
And it's through Banquo that Shakespeare really digs into those big themes of the play, ambition, fate, good versus evil.
Totally. I mean, think about it. Macbeth is all about grabbing that power, trying to force fate to go his way.
Right. He's like, I'm taking control. Destiny, schmestiny.
Exactly. But Banquo, he's much more passive.
He doesn't try to manipulate events or, make the prophecy happen.
Almost like he accepts that some things are just, well, out of his hands.
Which makes you think, doesn't it? Is it genuine acceptance? Or is he just more cautious than Macbeth? More afraid of the consequences?
Ooh, that's a good question.
It goes right to the heart of his character.
Is he noble? Or is he just playing it safe? Shakespeare doesn't give us a clear answer.
which, of course, makes it that much more intriguing.
Right. And there's this one line that I think really captures Banquo's inner turmoil.
Oh, I know what you're going to say.
It's after Duncan's murder. Banquo says to Macbeth, "I fear thou playedest most foully for it."
Such a powerful line.
I know, right?
Because on one hand, it shows us that Banquo's not fooled by Macbeth's act. He sees the darkness underneath.
But on the other hand, he doesn't do anything about it. He doesn't confront Macbeth, doesn't try to warn anyone.
Which is interesting. Is it fear that holds him back, or could it be a touch of that ambition we were talking about? Maybe he's thinking about the prophecy, about his son's becoming king.
Almost like that one line sums up the whole tragedy of Banquo.
Right. He sees the evil happening, but he doesn't stop it.
And then, of course, he becomes another victim of Macbeth's ambition.
And his death, I think, really reinforces that idea of choice. You know, Macbeth doesn't just kill Banquo out of paranoia.
It's like Banquo represents the path not taken. The choice Macbeth could have made, but didn't.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there.
So in the end, are we any closer to figuring out Banquo? Was he a good man? A schemer? A tragic hero?
Shakespeare loves to leave us with those questions, doesn't he?
He really does. And that's part of the magic, I think.
Yeah.
It keeps us talking about these plays, debating these characters centuries later.
I mean, that's what makes them so timeless, right? They speak to these universal human experiences. Ambition, betrayal, the struggle between good and evil.
And it's amazing how much depth and intrigue can be tacked into a seemingly supporting character. Banquo may not be the star of the show, but he adds so much to the story.
He definitely does.
And it makes you wonder, if Banquo had lived, what would have happened? Would he have become the king the witches foretold? Or would he have resisted that temptation? That's something to think about. And that's it for our deep dive on Banquo. Until next time.